Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Tomb of Terrors. I'm your host, Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another episode, thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you love the show, drop me a review on your favorite podcast app, or become a patron, patreon.com/oldmanbrad. And also make sure you follow me on Letterboxd so you can see all of the watches that I do. I watch a lot, not all good. Make sure you follow me over there. All right, this episode, I have a triple feature for you. I think this is the first time on the show I've done a triple feature. I know I've done a couple double features before, 2 movies, 2 reviews, and obviously when I do festivals, there's a whole host of films. I don't think I've ever done a triple, and this one is all 3 of these films released this week, 1 in the theater, 1 on VOD that you can rent or buy, and 1 you can stream. So it worked out perfectly that I was able to watch all 3 of these movies, and they all drop in various places. So I can bring them to you this week. You know, it's almost October. It's the best time of the year. Just make sure you keep it right here because my October is going to be awesome. But my movies this week, in my triple feature, I have Bone Lake, which comes out in theaters October 3rd. Brute 1976, which is available on VOD to purchase or rent digitally. And then also coming out October 3rd on Shudder is VHS Halloween. So those are the 3 films I'm going to talk about this week. But before we dive into those, if you are in the Cincinnati area, come out to Frightful Fridays on the 3rd Friday of the month. So thankful to be partnered with the Esquire to host a horror screening once a month. And our screening for October, on October 17th, is a film that has been requested multiple times. And that is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Excited to see this one on the big screen. I've only ever, watched it at home. I have it on 4K, but I've never seen it on the big screen. So come out October 17th, and let's watch a movie together. All right, let's move into our triple feature. Trying to think, where do we want to start before we dive into them? All 3 of these are worth seeing. 2 of them are definite step above one of them. And when we start talking about all of them, we will get there. So let's start in the theater. Let's talk Bone Lake.
When Will saw this house on the app, he thought Bone Lake was a euphemism.
Yeah, I thought it was called Bone Lake because it's a secluded place where people come to bone.
Yeah, I thought that.
Great minds.
Male minds.
Do you guys like to play games?
Everywhere you go and everyone you meet is playing together.
We have this house for the weekend.
Seems like we also booked this house.
A couple's vacation at a secluded estate is upended when they're forced to share a mansion with a mysterious couple. A dream getaway spirals into a nightmarish maze of sex, lies, and manipulation, triggering a battle for survival. This is directed by Mercedes Bryce Morgan. It stars Alex Rowe, Maddie Hassan, Marco Pagasi, Andre Nichita, and a few others. This is a film that played at Fantastic Fest last year. This was one that was high on my list to watch after Fantastic Fest. That I was like, I need to watch for when this one comes out. Heard some good things about it. And now, it's dropping in theaters October 3rd. I'm just going to say right up front, I fucking love this movie. It's a slow burn. I'm going to try to keep it fairly spoil-free. I might tote the edges a little bit here. We'll see. But this starts out with this naked couple in a forest being chased, and there are arrows flying, just missing them as they're going, and then one hits them. And there's an arrow hits a man in a place you definitely would not want an arrow to hit. You get a close-up of it hitting him. It is 100% cringeworthy. After that, I was like, okay, I want to see where this movie goes. You hooked me. This opening scene, you hooked me for Bone Lake. Let's see what happens. And then we move on to this couple, and it kind of feels like they're a little bit kind of having some relationship struggles. They're going on this vacation. One of them, he's a teacher at a community college. He wants to be a writer. And she's like, just follow that. Just do it. He's trying to tell her about his writing. So they go to this nice secluded area on Bone Lake. You think it's this nice location. They have an intimate moment, and then two other people show up, walk into this mansion. It was like, oh, hey, how are you? Kind of this miss, two people in one place kind of thing. We've seen some other movies that have done this before of a mistaken, oh, we got double booked for this. I wonder what's going on. And then, they just kind of talk and say, one of them is funny. You want to rock, paper, scissors for who gets it. The two guys, and one of the girls is like, don't be an idiot. We can both this place is giant. We can both stay here. We have a lot of food. We have a lot of booze. Let's just have an enjoyable weekend. If we hate each other, then you guys can go and do your silly little game. We'll go from there. So from there forward, you have these two couples that are staying. There just seems to be something off on one of the couples. And as it kind of progresses along, it's a slow burn that you don't know what their intentions are. So it's kind of this back and forth of you're figuring out who is the bad guy, who is not. It leans you towards who is, which is no big, you're like, okay, I have this figured out. They're playing some game here. I said it's a slow burn. And then when you get to probably the last 20-ish minutes, maybe a little longer, this movie takes a different turn and kicks ass. The beginning scene hooked me in. I was like, all right, I'm interested. The rest of it, I'm like, okay, I'm into the story. I'm curious where this is going to go. And then it goes for it. Think somewhat parts Ready or Not, where it kind of gets bloody like that. No body explosions like that, but you get some bloody moments like that. You find out deeper of our characters and their motivations of why, and you're like, holy shit, really? Weird, but okay. And then it's like this chase, cat and mouse chase of who's going to get who's going to survive, what's going on, and there's actually some smart moves to the characters. It doesn't just turn into dumb slasher where they're like, oh, we're being chased, and then, they fall into moments. There are some smart things where they make choices to try to fool them. It all works. And the way it ends is so good. When the credits play, the music and the way the scene is framed, it was one of those, like, I had to give a little clap of like this. That was the perfect way to end this. Made me chuckle. And I was like, this movie kicked butt. I highly recommend Bone Lake. If you're watching it and you're like, oh man, come on, it's a bit slow, stick with it. Trust me, please trust me, stick with it. Because there's some manipulative stuff throughout. There's some games that happen, and then it gets bloody. It's worth it. It is so worth it in the end. I loved Bone Lake. Right now, it's on the list for the end of the year. I gave it a 4 out of 5 because that final act just hit hard and rocked. There you go. That's Bone Lake. Add it to your watch list. Go see it in the theater if you get the chance, but definitely add it to a watch list. All right, let's move on to the other one that comes out this Friday, and that is VHS Halloween.
Hello? Wait, are you saying this? Where are we?
A collection of Halloween-themed videotapes unleashes a series of twisted, blood-soaked tales, turning trick-or-treat into a struggle for survival. Directed by Brian M. Ferguson, Casper Kelly, R.H. Norman, Alex Ross Perry, Micheline Pitt, Paco Plaza, Anna Zlakovic. Multiple segments, multiple directors. I mean, it stars many people. David Hayden, Anna McKelvey, Adam James Johnston. I mean, the list goes on and on. There are a lot of people in this movie. You have 5 total stories in this film. And then there is one, not necessarily a wraparound, but it's if you've seen other VHS films, there's kind of like a segment kind of in between each where it cuts to. Same thing. You have a story that interweaves within these other stories. Diet Phantasma, the story that weaves through it. And then you have 5 stories through the film. Coochie Coochie Coo, Oot Supra Sick Infra, Fun Size, Kid Print, Home Haunt. I am new to the VHS series. I recently just kind of watched through the series. My top 2 that out of the series thus far are 94 and Beyond. I loved both of those. So after watching through this series, I was excited. I'm like, okay, we're going to get to Halloween. We're coming up on October. Halloween theme. I'm all in. All the stories, for the most part, are great. Even the one that I didn't love, Kid Print is the one that I didn't fully love. It was still good. And it didn't bring it down to where I'm like, when we get to this one, it sucks. No, it just didn't hit as hard as the other stories that we got in this. I'll say Coochie Coochie Coo, Fun Size, and Home Haunt are my 3 highlight stories out of it. That Coochie Coochie Coo, the first story, there are some scenes in it you're just like, oh my God, really? There are pieces of it, like they felt like a haunted house where you have people running through a house trying to escape what is going on. Fun Size, I mean, it was just, as the title says, it was just kind of fun. It was a neat little story of people that you have a bowl that says, take just one, and they took 2. Something's going to happen. Home Haunt, that is a home haunted house that someone makes for Halloween that goes wildly wrong. It starts out one way and then it kind of takes a turn and you're like, oh yes, let's go. Overall, man, if you love the VHS series, if you've watched through all, what is this? This is the 8th one, I believe now. If you've watched all the other ones, the original, 2, Viral, 94, 99, 85, Beyond, and then this one. If you love those other films, you're going to have fun with this. It's a lot of that, that same formula. Like you're putting in some VHS tape with some clips on it, and it's kind of cutting through all the clips and stories with this interweaving story in between. The Diet Phantasma has some hilarious pieces. This movie is definitely for you. If you're a fan of VHS, you're going to love this. Guaranteed you will enjoy this film if you love the series. There is nothing in this that will deter that. If you're like me, new to the series, man, I love this one. 4 out of the 5 hit hard, and even the 5th one wasn't terrible. It was just like, it wasn't as strong as the others. Go watch VHS Halloween on Shudder October 3rd. It's worth it. And while you're on Shudder, go check out a previous movie I talked about, Night of the Reaper, one of my favorite movies of the year. Add that to the list too. All right, we're 2/3 of the way through this triple feature. We have one more left, and that is Brute, 1976.
You know where you are, right? This place's nickname is Death.
Let's begin.
All aboard for your one-way trip to hell.
No one ever comes out this way anymore. 100 years ago, this was one of the most brutal places in America.
Did you hear that?
The worst of the worst showed up here. Murder. That was the way of life.
One of us is definitely getting murdered here.
Anybody down there?
In 1976, a group of people in the desert for a photo shoot stumble upon an abandoned town called Savage. But they are not alone. A family of masked psychopaths have claimed Savage as their own and are hell-bent on living up to its name. Directed by Marcel Walz. Stars Adrian McLean, Sarah French, Gigi Gustin, Dazelle Yvette, Adam Bucci, and many others. This movie is very much heavily influenced by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It takes no qualms that it is influenced by it. You look at the poster, there's a chainsaw hanging down. I think in one part, I think some characters even mention the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And you have almost this crazy family in some pieces of it that are very reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw. I think the last part of it is stronger than the first. It has some characters that are very interesting that you may or may not love that are very cliched. If I had one big gripe of the movie, is it felt a little overly long. It's an hour and 45 minutes. I think this could have been a breezy 90 minutes. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more than I did. Out of the films I watched this week, this was the weakest of the three. I liked it. I didn't love it. It has some quirky characters for sure. There are some definite scenes where I'm like, ooh, I love this. Or I love these characters, how they're going in the direction, running from these mass killers that are trying to get them. But then it just, the pacing kind of comes to almost a complete stop in a few scenes. And that's kind of where it was good, not great. Brute 1976 is a mild recommend. There are a few good kills in it, and it's one of those, if you're just looking for something new to watch this Halloween spooky season, throw on Brute 76, and you could have yourself a good time. Honestly, I don't think I'd rush right out and watch it right off the bat. Mildly add it to a list. There is my triple feature for the week. We have Bone Lake. Highly recommend Bone Lake. Loved it so much. VHS Halloween. Also love this one. Right now it's at the top of my list for the VHS series, just above 94, which I loved so much as well. Both of these come out October 3rd. Bone Lake in the theaters, VHS Halloween on Shudder, and then out right now that you can rent or buy digitally, Brute 1976. It was good, not great. It's just a mild, if you are looking for something new to watch, you can add it to the list. The other two are far stronger than this final one. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Someone once said that. But that will do it for this episode of Tomb of Terrors. Just make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episode that comes out over here, whether it is Versus, Tales from Tubi, these reviews. Usually they're shorter reviews with just one movie, but, I threw 3 in today. Or my interviews. Coming October, the October Anthologies of Horror. I'm going to have 5 anthology films over 5 weeks with 5 special guests. Make sure you keep it right here on Tomb of Terrors for that special Tales from Tubi series. All 5 of these anthology films are available on Tubi. Get ready for those episodes. If you want to watch the movies ahead of time, I have Asylum from 1972, Night Train of Terror from 1985, Campfire Tales from 1997, The Theater Bazaar from 2011, and then we're going to end everything on Halloween with 1031 Part 3. This is my 3rd year doing this Tales from Tubi series with special guests each week. This is one of my favorite months to do, this now being the 3rd year doing it. But just subscribe and you won't miss anything. And I will be back soon with a brand new episode. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.